Nowhere in the Bible are we told that God expects us to trust people. Now, forgiveness, that is something God expects us to do. There are many scriptures on that topic, but trust, well, that's something that has to be earned. And I think that's why God lets it up to us to decide who we can trust. There aren't many people in my life that I can trust. Not many people left. I've had people in my life who have shamed me for taking too long to get over things. I've had people in my life who have tried to turn others against me, treat me like a punching bag when I'm trying to help them, make excuses for their abuse, and then tell me that I'm too sensitive and I need to toughen up. You know, I've had people imply that I'm stupid, and even people who have questioned my mental stability. People can be verbally, emotionally abusive, and they can do things that cause severe trauma in our lives. If you're having a trust issue, you need to realize that it's not your fault that you don't trust someone. Something was done to destroy that trust. And you can't quickly, magically bounce back from that. And no one should expect you to. No one has the right to tell you, to put a time limit on your healing and say, you need to get over this. A good book that I know will help you if you're dealing with trust is titled, I Want to Trust You, But I Don't, and that is by Lysa TerKeurst. I haven't read the book yet. It might be a future drop into my Skimma bestseller playlist. I am right now reading a book by Lysa, also a bestseller, called It's Not Supposed to Be This Way. And I do plan to share that book, this book, in a future video for my Skimma bestseller playlist. But I haven't read Lysa's book on trust, but I have listened to some interviews with her as she talks about her book and explains what the book's about. And she also shares her own trust issues, which she is still dealing with because, a painful past can cause emotional triggers that take a very long time to heal. And sometimes it's that past trauma that makes it so difficult to get over a new hurtful situation. My past trauma was abandonment, rejection, and betrayal. And because of that, anything in my present life that resembles abandonment, rejection, or betrayal will hit me 1,000 times harder than it will hit anyone who has not experienced those things. And this is the mistake people make when they shame you for taking too long to get over something. They didn't live your life, and they haven't gone through the things that you've gone through, and they can't possibly understand the depth of your trauma or the intensity of your pain. And because I'm the only one who knows the reality of my past trauma, I'm also the only one who can make decisions about my healing and decisions about who I'm going to allow into my life and how close I want to be with them. If you're having a hard time establishing boundaries with people who hurt you, you just don't seem to be able to draw that line where you say, if that's how you're going to treat me, then I don't want to see you. If you're not able to do that, there's a really good video that was recently posted on Dr. Josh Axe YouTube channel, and Axe is spelled A-X-E. And the title of that video is, Are Boundaries Biblical? How to Set Boundaries Like Jesus. And that is an interview with Lysa TerKeurst. And she just says the most profound things. It's really thought-provoking. It's really going to make you think. And if you are one of those people who really can't put up boundaries, after watching that video, you're going to have a newfound strength because she really makes you think about why you need to be able to do that, to set boundaries. She basically tells us that boundaries are not just a good idea, but they are God's idea. So watch that video. I don't want to get too into the boundaries. That's another topic. Getting back to trust. Once the trust is broken, that relationship might end completely, And if reconciliation does happen, it might not be the same between you because you're being cautious now. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart, for it determines the course of your life. And the only person who can decide the right way to guard your heart is you. You are the keeper of your heart, and you have every right to guard it in any way that you need to. So stand up for yourself and stand up for what you need to heal. If you need a period of isolation, if you need to distance yourself from hurtful people, take that time, as much time as you need, and don't let people guilt you into cutting that time short. Spend time in prayer, draw close to God, and cut off any voice that causes you anxiety, stress, self-doubt, or guilt. None of that is going to help you heal. You need to get away from that toxicity. Even Jesus cut people off. He knew when to walk away. When you're having a trust issue, the people that you love have two choices. They can offer a toxic response, or they can offer an empathetic response. And Lisa talked about this in the interview when she talked about her book. And she talked about the things that she went through. Her husband committed adultery. He committed it once. She took him back, and then he did it again. And she divorced him, and she's now happily remarried. So there is hope. Your pain won't be forever. It will get better. You have to hang on to that hope. Now, these aren't Lisa's exact words. This is what I recall her saying when she explained the difference between the toxic response to your trust issue and the empathetic response. She said the toxic response will sound something like, oh, not this again. How long has it been now? Are you ever going to get over this? And the loving, empathetic response will sound like this. I understand why this has affected you so deeply. Tell me what I can do to help you heal. What do you need to build your trust? Because it does take work to rebuild trust. And if that person isn't willing to do the work, then being cautious and stepping back and staying away really is your only option. It's the only option you have because you have to guard your heart. And the Bible encourages you to do so. So don't let anyone rush you or lecture you or shame you for doing what you need to do to protect your peace. And if no one is backing your decision to be cautious and, keep your distance, just know that God is backing that decision. Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart, for it determines the course of your life. Thanks for listening. My next video, at this point, it is titled, Are You Prepared for the Worst? Now, sometimes God does step in and change my direction, but that's where I'm headed for my next video. And I'm going to be breaking that down into 5 parts: water, food, heat, light, and power. And power would be things like batteries and generators. These 2 storms that recently hit our nation, North Carolina and Florida, with these storms and the devastation that they caused, being prepared, I think, is on a lot of people's minds. And I'm going to be sharing what I've learned about being prepared for a disaster and some of the things that we've been doing. We've had many years preparation for power outages and, no water and storing food and things like that. So that's what my plan is for next week. I hope you'll check back for that, and I'll see you then.